everyone. We just finished filming some videos for the Macias Judo Academy, and we received some questions that we can answer for you today, and we can talk more about judo. Hello everyone, we received some questions at the Macias Judo Academy, and we should try to answer them. We got a question on what I think about judo in the history, about how it was before and how is it today, and so that's what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
What I think about judo, I think judo is always developing, and I think that's the beauty of the sport. It's always getting better and better.
Oh.
Someone wanted to clean up here. But I think judo is evolving the whole time, and I think if we look back 50 years, it's not the same judo as we have today. And my style of judo is not traditional Japanese style, and but I think that I follow everything that Jigoro Kano was teaching at that point when he developed judo, with the maximum efficiency and that we learned together, the Serioku Senyu and the Jida Koyai. I think that's really big part of my judo philosophy. So even though I don't do Japanese classical style, I still think the same thoughts I want to believe that Jigoro Kano was thinking when he lived.
But what is the difference then, do you think? Because they clearly also thought that what they did was most efficient.
Yeah, and I think if judo is always developing, and I think in 10 years my judo will not be the most efficient maybe. Right now, what I think, how I'm doing my judo today, I think it's most efficient, and I think as well as we learn together, I think that's something they also did at that point, but I think we discover new areas where we can develop our techniques.
What do you think that comes from? Could be like the rules that change, or is it more the meta of judo, if you know what I mean?
I think if we look back 50 years, then I don't think it was so much about being in a physical top shape. You don't need to. They only did judo. I think I didn't think they did so much other trainings. But now today, we know if you want to perform at the highest level, you need to have really good physics, and you need to have really good techniques.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and of course, every time the rules change, then the game is gonna change a little bit.
But that's actually kind of funny, because your judo is more focused around like technique and not using so much strength.
Yes, because I'm really weak. No,
Yeah.
I'm not really weak, but I'm weak compared to my opponents.
Yeah, but
and that's why I think that my judo is more correct than some Japanese players that are fighting a traditional judo, but they are fighting with too much power.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Because I don't fight with a lot of power. I fight with minimum power and make my throws the most efficient.
Yeah, there's also a funny thing that people always tell you, that the Japanese players fight very light and like follows up with you if you try to make like a nice throw. But like the reality is that if you go to Japan and you train at either Tokai or Tenri, they're going to fight 110% with you. Yes. Almost.
But I also think it's very different from. I know if you want the best Japanese and the Japanese that want to get to the highest level, they're the meanest one.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get from. But I think it's the same everywhere. There are some players that really understand the judo mentality, and some players don't understand it.
Yeah, okay.
I think we have them in all countries. And it can also be very different from day to day, I guess. I know that some trainings, I also did a bad training, and yes, the strong, the other one was not doing anything about learning together or most efficient. But
yeah, but why don't you think that the Japanese people are still so much better than the rest of the world? And is it just the setup, or like the amount of people that train judo, or maybe their mentality, or what could it be?
I come from Sweden. It's no one is doing judo in Sweden.
No, exactly.
If I should think about it, I could beat Japanese player with that training amount I had in Sweden. It would not be realistic. But I did, because I think I trained smarter than they did. I have a different mindset than they do, and that's how I could still beat them. Because if I look they are like 100 people on the tatami every day. They do 2 times. They are full-time athletes to 2 times judo every day to other trainings, and it wouldn't be no chance I should beat the best players from there. But I did, because I think I train smarter and I have a different mindset, and I think really much about using what I got, and using also, like I talked in the last video about using every training to get something out of it.
Yeah, okay.
And not just pushing and throw as much as I want. I want always to develop. But for sure, like if we go back to the question, how judo is developing, I think judo is getting more and more tough. More people are doing judo, and the more people are doing judo, the harder it will be. And nowadays, maybe it cannot get harder than it is today, because now I think judo is all around the world, and all national teams are really good. But that's also I'm not a Japanese player. I don't fight like Japanese player does. But that's also what I love about judo, that there are so many different styles, and that you also have to make my style is working maybe really good against Japanese players, and then there's another style that is working against me, and all styles are good against different players. It's a game, and that's also what I love about this sport. I think if you're gonna do 100-meter sprint, then you know before the run that who is gonna win. In judo, you never know, because about the draw, everything can happen, and it's just much more complex than many other sports.
But it's also, do you think it has like a harder psychological like pressure on you, that you know that in judo you can actually lose to someone that is on the paper worse
I want to think like that.
Yeah.
I think if I was doing a 100-meter sprint, I would never be nervous, because I know I can run 9:55. Then I will run 9:55. In judo, you can never think like that, because it's so hard. But I think it's, but also, like I said before, like I think judo is always developing, and I think judo has developed a lot the last 20 years. But on that, I also think that Jigoro Kano wanted it to develop. If you think about it, he developed a new sport, and I don't think that he wanted it to be finished when he died. I think that he was like, yeah, this is the start of something, and you have to try to make it better the whole time. He did it. He removed a lot of techniques from the old jiu-jitsu system that he wanted. Okay, this is not part of judo. He wanted to create the best sport. And sometimes I feel like some of the old guys, they're like, no, we cannot change anything, because Jigoro Kano, he said it has to be like this. But I think he would be really disappointed if he saw that we don't want to change anything. I think it's really important we change all the time to try to improve everything.
Yeah.
Because also in judo, like when he's teaching judo, when he speak about it must be the most efficient, we know this, it must be the most efficient, maximum efficiency with minimum power. But that's also in life. We have to make sure that we live our life as efficient as possible. And then it's also that we have to develop the sport, make it as good as possible all the time. So sometimes when I hear this old guys say, but we have to go back to the kata, do the same techniques, the same way that Jigoro did, then I feel a little sorry for him, because I think that Jigoro, he wanted to develop more. He wanted to be always a change in everything, and that he wanted to make the best sport. And I don't think he thought he had the best sport when he died. I think he saw potential to be the best. And I think today also that what the IJF are doing when they change the rules, they are doing it to make a better sport. They want always to improve the sport. And I think that's the mentality we need to have if we want to improve.
Yeah, of course.
Think about if the first car was the last car also. Then it would be a really bad car. You cannot compare a car made today.
You have to go back to your Nokia phone or something.
So I think it's, some things are really good that we always want. We want to remember the old Japanese culture, what they had, but we have to know it was not the best judo they were doing that. that time. Now we're doing much better judo because we learn from them and we improve that.
It also looks now, when you look at the world tour and the big competitions, that the Japanese people are also starting to adapt more and do more untraditional techniques than they used to beforehand. So I think it's also like a general like idea now in this time. But do you think that just like everything in this area of time in the 21st century changes so fast with like technology and everything? Do you think judo will also change faster than it used to?
For sure, I think it will be easier to learn some games. For sure, if you are following my Macias Judo Academy, you will learn some games, and this we couldn't do if we go back 30 years.
Yeah.
Now I can learn someone on the other side of the world how I play judo, and for sure they can learn, study that, but then they have to also adjust it to their style. Of course, it will get faster for them because they don't have to develop it by themselves. I had to develop it by myself, so it's easier to copy, you know. But then when you have copied, you also have to learn how to use it, and that's up to you. See how fast that can learn, because you can learn something, but then of course they can learn something, but they also have to develop it later and try to make it better. If it's only a copy, it will just be a copy, and it will not be better.
Yeah.
So first about learning how to understand everything, and then they can try to develop it. And I guess it will be faster, because we can copy so much. Like now, they don't need to come to my dojo. I can learn people so much more just over the internet.
Yeah, crazy. But that's also the great question, is that if you got as good as you are because of your techniques and your judo, or because you have the ability to develop it, like if you for instance say you copied your judo game to mine 100%, I could do everything 100% as you do. If I would then be as good as you, or if it's because that you has this like judo understanding.
I think for sure it will take you to one level, but if you're just copying it and not really understand it, then if you, like nowadays, if I get to one situations and I don't know, I've never been there before, I still understand all of the fundamentals about judo, what is working and how I should pull, so I can create a really good solution for that, even if I've never been there before. And that's the hard part with judo, because they are so complex sport. If we just look at one technique, we can do one technique on 100 different ways. Then we just have to know that our uke is looking different. So our 100 techniques will look very different on who we are fighting. And if we add the movement as well, it's so big.
Million different possibilities.
So it's so big. But I learned from my years of doing a lot of judo, I learned to understand the fundamentals and know how to pull the correct way.
Yeah, okay. But how do you do that? Is it by just fighting as much judo as possible, or how
I think it's a lot about what we talked about in the last video.
Yeah.
About having this control and have that feeling. Also, when we have doing another video about tension, about feeling the tension, how to control the tension. That's something I realized now lately after I stopped, about this tension, how important it is. Because if I can control the tension, then I can control the fight. And even if I haven't been in that position before, if I can feel the tension, I can manipulate it and make sure it's working with me instead of against me.
Yeah, okay. Nice. So the big conclusion is judo
is always developing.
Judo is always developing.
And I like old judo, but I like new judo more. And I think you always have to think new ways.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out Macias Judo Academy for more crazy content like this, and drop a like in the video. And yeah, see you.